Audi will be an F1 giant, but how long will it take? Since 2023, we have all been waiting for Audi to join the grid, and we only have to wait one more year. I think Audi will be one of the best teams in F1, but it is going to take them a while to get up to speed. Audi coming into F1 is so good for the sport. They've got a really good history in motorsport and they rarely fail when they go into competitions. By having Audi come into F1, it makes the field even more competitive when they inevitably get up to speed and get to the top. We've already got 4 teams in F1 who have chances of winning races at the moment: Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes and McLaren. Aston Martin are also showing signs of potential, and there's a chance even they could get to the top. Go and watch this video, by the way, if you want to find out why Aston Martin could potentially get to the top, and I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks to all of this, Audi will have a chance at becoming the 6th possible team of having a chance at winning races in F1, meaning over half a grid could potentially be competitive, which is something F1 fans have been dreaming about for years. Imagine if we get a championship fight between 6 teams, it would be amazing. Also gives more drivers a chance at driving for a top team. There's so many drivers in F1 history who we've seen their potential has been wasted because they've never had the chance at driving for a top team. For example, Nico Hülkenberg's going to Audi, but he's never had the chance to drive for a top team, even though he's one of the best drivers on the grid. But now that he's finally going to be going to a top team like Audi, because eventually they will be, Hülkenberg's about to get that chance. Audi also have to be competitive in F1 because of how much of a big brand they are. If Audi are uncompetitive, then it's going to look really bad, not just for F1, but Audi in general. It's going to drive sponsors away from the team. It's almost like Audi are going to be under pressure to perform in F1, and it will be interesting to see how they handle that pressure. Remember, they're competing against their rivals such as Mercedes, another German car manufacturer. Audi will want to beat teams like Mercedes because, again, it will look good for their brand. And with Mercedes being one of the best teams in F1, dominating it over the last 10 years, okay, maybe not the last few years, but in general, in the last decade, Mercedes have dominated. Audi have to aim towards the top because they have to beat Mercedes as a brand. As I have said, Audi are one of the motoring giants, not just in motorsport, but within the automotive industry in general. They already have way more resources and backing compared to teams like Williams and Haas. I think now with F1 having a cost cap in place, it makes it easier for teams like Audi coming into the sport to get points straight away. Unlike in 2010 when we saw Marussia and Caterham coming into the sport, and they were never competitive, so in 2014 they had to leave the sport because they just couldn't afford it and it wasn't financially stable. Also, Audi aren't entirely a new team. They're taking over Sauber, who have been in F1 for many years now, which gives Audi a solid foundation to build upon when they eventually take control of things. As Audi is such a big brand, they will have a lot of money to spend. This money can go towards developing their car, bringing in top F1 figures. For example, they've already brought in Jonathan Wheatley from Red Bull. Also, Audi already will have a really solid driver lineup with Nico Hülkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto, who is the current F2 champion. Hülkenberg has established himself as one of the best drivers in F1. Despite never getting a podium, he was really impressive last season, always getting Q3 appearances with Haas and scoring regular points. Bortoleto I do have my slight concerns about, but that's more because I don't really know that much about him. But if you've won F2, then you've got to be good, surely. Yes, winning F2 doesn't always guarantee a driver having a good career within F1. Just look at Mick Schumacher. So let's say, just in case, Bortoleto has a really poor season in F1 in 2025. Audi will still have all the resources and money to bring in a better driver. Who could they maybe bring in? I could see them bringing in maybe Tsunoda. I've made a video about Tsunoda, and as I can tell, there's a lot of mixed feelings about Tsunoda. Some people think he's really good, despite him having a really poor start to his F1 career. However, some people think he's not good enough for a top team at all. Maybe even Sergio Perez could find a way back into F1 through Audi, but there's rumours of him going to Cadillac anyway. But only time will tell with that one. So why will it take Audi a little bit of time to get up to speed in F1? For starters, they're taking over Sauber, a team who haven't really been the best in recent seasons. Especially last season, you could comfortably say they were the worst team on the grid. They also don't really have the best personnel. Yes, they brought in Matteo Binotto, but when he was at Ferrari, things never really went great. I think Audi will have to bring in even more key figures like they have done with Jonathan Wheatley and Matteo Binotto. Wheatley will become the team principal and he will have learned a lot under Christian Horner. It will definitely be interesting to see what Jonathan Wheatley can do in a team principal role. However, for Audi to become one of the best teams, I think there's even more key figures they'll have to bring in, such as engineers and chief designers. I'm confident Audi will do that though because they're a big brand, like I've said. and they have a lot of money to attract top senior figures within F1. In 2026, Audi are going to be using their own engines, which is a really good thing for Formula 1, by the way, because it now means we've got 5 engine manufacturers within the sport. However, the last time we saw a new complete engine manufacturer in F1 was Honda in 2015, and it took a long time for Honda to be able to get up to speed. Until 2019, Honda were really poor, and I worry the same thing might happen with Audi. However, one advantage Audi will have is that the engine regulations are changing in 2026. And as Audi haven't made any of the current F1 engines, they can put their full focus onto their 2026 engine. Whilst other teams are going to be developing their 2026 engine, but at the same time, they still need to focus on the current regulations. Apparently, Mercedes are a step ahead of everyone else when it comes to the 2026 engine development, so that is something Audi will have to watch out for. Also, because Audi have never made an F1 engine before, they've got a lot to learn. F1 engines are some of the most complicated engines on the planet, and you have to have very clever engineers to be able to understand them. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Audi suffer from reliability issues a lot more than other teams in 2026 and 2027 at least. If this turns out to be right, then it's going to mean Audi are going to really struggle to compete for wins and maybe even championships in the first 2 seasons. Finally, it usually takes a team quite a while to get from the bottom of F1 right back up to the top. Look at McLaren. Before 2013, they were one of the best teams in the grid, and then in 2013, they fell off completely, and they didn't really start winning races again until 2021. Again, as Audi are taking over Sauber, a team right at the bottom of the grid at the moment, it means that they're likely going to have to do some shuffling around. And again, bring in new engineers and new mechanics. There's a lot of work for Audi to do, and I think it's highly unlikely that within their first 3 seasons they're going to win any championships. However, if they bring in the right personnel, develop their car and engine perfectly, and make sure they have the right driver lineup, they will eventually get to the top. Like I said again, Audi is such a big brand and they simply cannot afford to be driving around the back of the field. Otherwise it's going to look really, really bad for them. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Audi will be a giant within F1? And how long do you think it's going to take them to get to the top? For all I know, I could be completely wrong here and Audi could dominate the championship in 2026. If you want to see more F1 content like this, please subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you all in the next one.